Where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. He signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher.
Justin Bieber just leaked footage that could completely change the fate of Diddy's trial, and the music world may never look the same. As one of the most influential figures in the industry, Diddy has been at the center of countless headlines. But this time, the stakes are higher than ever. Facing serious allegations of trafficking and racketeering, Diddy's reputation and career hang in the balance. Now, with Bieber's unexpected move, this explosive video has thrown a wrench into the case. What exactly does the footage reveal? And why is it sparking such intense debate both inside and outside the courtroom? Stick around, because you won't believe where this story goes next. For months, Sean Diddy Combs has been entangled in a legal battle that could define his legacy.
What advice would you give me on how to find the best in class?
The first thing you need to do for each job is to have a spec sheets, the specifications for that job.
He's facing charges of trafficking and racketeering, with prosecutors claiming that his iconic parties were more than just star-studded events. According to the allegations, these gatherings were environments where power and influence were allegedly used to manipulate guests, with some even reporting coercion and the use of drugs to control behavior. Diddy, however, has vehemently denied the accusations. He's refused a plea deal that would have required him to admit guilt, maintaining that all interactions were consensual. This decision has only added fuel to the fire, as the trial is now shaping up to be one of the most highly publicized legal battles in recent history. The implications of this case stretch far beyond Diddy himself.
P. Diddy has been a huge individual in the music industry for decades now, and with a lot of new information coming to light about his past as well as what he's been doing behind the scenes, a lot of people are comparing him to the Harvey Weinstein or the Epstein of the music industry.
It's shining a light on the darker side of an industry that thrives on exclusivity and secrecy. With so much at stake, the pressure is mounting for both sides to present a compelling case, and the sudden emergence of Justin Bieber's leaked footage has only made things more complicated. Diddy's parties have always been the talk of the town, lavish, exclusive, and packed with A-list celebrities. But in recent months, these events have become the centerpiece of a much darker story. Prosecutors allege that these gatherings weren't just wild nights filled with music and dancing. They claim there was something far more sinister happening behind the scenes.
The last hearing before Sean Combs' trial starts, when he walked into federal court today, he appeared to be looking for his family. They've pretty much been at all of the hearings that I've been to, but there was no presence of his sons or his mother or his sister who had previously been at those hearings.
Guests who attended these parties have come forward with shocking accounts, describing an environment where boundaries were blurred and power dynamics were exploited. The allegations include coercion, manipulation, and even the use of drugs to control attendees. Some claim that certain guests were pressured into private areas, and others have said they felt trapped in situations they couldn't escape from. What makes this even more chilling is the level of organization prosecutors are alleging. According to them, these weren't isolated incidents. They argue that Diddy's parties were carefully orchestrated to maintain secrecy and control.
This is going to be such a massive trial, like maybe the biggest Hollywood trial. God knows which way it's going to go. Is it gonna go on for weeks and months?
Oh, for sure, weeks.
Staff members were reportedly tasked with escorting certain guests to private rooms, and the overall atmosphere was designed to ensure that no one outside the inner circle knew what was really going on. Of course, Diddy has denied all of these allegations, calling them baseless and exaggerated. He insists that the parties were nothing more than celebrations of music and life, and that any interactions were completely consensual. But with so many accusations piling up, and now Justin Bieber's leaked footage entering the mix, the pressure on Diddy is mounting. The public is left wondering, were these parties really as glamorous as they seemed, or were they hiding something far more troubling?
We have the latest from federal court in the Sean Combs criminal case. Status of jury selection, what Diddy's going to be wearing, violation of a gag order, rejecting a plea offer.
Justin Bieber's involvement in this case has added an unexpected twist to an already explosive story. His connection to Diddy goes back years, to the early days of Bieber's career when Diddy was one of the first major figures to take him under his wing. Over the years, the two have been spotted together at events, parties, and in the studio, with Diddy even gifting Bieber his first Lamborghini. But now, that relationship is taking a very different turn. Bieber's decision to leak footage from one of Diddy's parties has thrust him into the center of this legal battle. The video shows behind-the-scenes moments at one of the events.
How can you support your father? How do you support him moving forward?
Staff moving guests around, restricted areas being monitored, and the general atmosphere of exclusivity that surrounded Diddy's gatherings. What makes this so significant is Bieber's role as both an insider and an eyewitness. Having attended multiple parties himself, Bieber's footage carries a level of credibility that's hard to dismiss. Prosecutors are using it to support their claims of a highly organized environment where staff controlled who had access to certain areas. While the video doesn't show any explicit misconduct, it raises questions about what might have happened in those private spaces.
Long relationship, real relationship that created heartbreak and created happiness and a lot of different emotions that I wanted to write about. So
and that's on this album?
Yeah, there's a lot of that on this album.
But not a direct response?
Not a direct response, no.
And why such strict control was necessary. As for Bieber's motives, they remain unclear. Some believe he leaked the footage to distance himself from the controversy, showing that he has nothing to hide. Others think it could be a moral decision, an attempt to expose the truth about what really happened at these parties. Regardless of his reasons, the leak has had a massive impact, not just on the case, but on Bieber's own image. By taking this bold step, Bieber has placed himself in a precarious position. Whether he's called to testify or not, his involvement in the case is now undeniable, and the public is watching his every move. So, what's in the video that Justin Bieber leaked, and why is it causing such a stir? According to reports, the footage is from one of Diddy's notorious parties. And while it doesn't show anything explicitly incriminating, it raises a lot of questions. The video, which appears to be taken from a personal archive, shows behind-the-scenes moments, staff moving in and out of restricted areas, guests mingling in dimly lit rooms, and the kind of controlled chaos you'd expect at a high-profile event. Here's the part that's making prosecutors pay attention. The video reportedly captures staff members escorting certain guests into private areas, sparking speculation about what might have happened behind closed doors. Prosecutors believe this footage supports their claims that the events were more than just harmless fun. They argue that the video hints at a level of organization and control that aligns with their accusations of manipulation and coercion. But there's also a lot the video doesn't show. And that's where things get tricky. While it gives a glimpse into the atmosphere of these parties, it doesn't provide hard evidence of any criminal activity. There's no audio, no incriminating conversations, and no direct proof of wrongdoing. However, for the prosecution, it's not about what's missing. It's about the questions the footage raises. They're using it as a way to build a narrative, painting a picture of events that were carefully managed to maintain secrecy and power dynamics. And then there's Justin Bieber himself. By releasing this footage, he's essentially taking a public stance, whether he intended to or not. Some legal experts believe Bieber's video could be used as evidence if he's called to testify, while others think it might just add to the media circus surrounding the trial. Either way, the leak has added a new layer of intrigue to an already explosive case. Not surprisingly, Diddy's legal team has wasted no time firing back at the leaked footage. From their perspective, the video is nothing more than a distraction. In a statement released shortly after the leak, Diddy's lawyers dismissed the footage as misleading and out of context. They argue that it's impossible to draw any meaningful conclusions from the video, especially since it doesn't show anything directly related to the allegations. Their main point is this: just because the video shows staff movements or restricted areas doesn't prove that anything illegal happened. Diddy's team claims that these parties were meticulously organized for security reasons, given the high-profile guests in attendance. In their eyes, the footage only shows a well-managed event, not the kind of sinister activity the prosecution is implying. But the defense isn't stopping there. They're also questioning Bieber's motives for leaking the footage in the first place. Why now? Why this particular video? Some believe the defense might use this angle to discredit Bieber as a credible source. They could argue that his decision to release the footage was more about grabbing headlines or protecting his own reputation than helping the case. In addition to discrediting the footage itself, Diddy's team is working hard to shift the narrative. They're emphasizing Diddy's long-standing contributions to the music industry and his role as a mentor to countless artists, including Justin Bieber. Their goal is to remind the public of Diddy's legacy and cast doubt on the idea that he could be involved in anything so damaging. Ultimately, the defense's strategy is clear: plant seeds of doubt. They don't need to prove Diddy's innocence outright. They just need to convince the jury that the evidence, including Bieber's video, isn't strong enough to support the prosecution's claims. And based on how the trial is shaping up, that might be easier said than done. The leaked footage hasn't just shaken up the courtroom. It's sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry and the public at large. Social media has erupted with debates about what the footage means and how it could affect the trial. On one hand, some fans are applauding Justin Bieber for coming forward with material that could potentially shed light on what went on at Diddy's parties. On the other, critics argue that Bieber's leak was reckless and could unfairly influence public opinion before the trial even begins. But it's not just the trial that's being scrutinized. The spotlight is now on the broader culture of celebrity parties and the secrecy that surrounds them. For years, these events have been portrayed as glamorous gatherings. But this case is forcing people to reconsider what really happens behind closed doors. Are these parties as harmless as they seem? Or is there a darker side that's been hidden from the public? This controversy has also sparked a larger conversation about accountability in the music industry. Fans are calling for stricter safety measures at private events, especially when they involve high-profile figures who wield significant power. Some are even questioning whether celebrities should continue to host exclusive parties at all, given the potential for abuse and exploitation. Meanwhile, industry insiders are bracing for the fallout. If the allegations against Diddy are proven true, it could set a precedent for how similar cases are handled in the future. Record labels, management teams, and event organizers may face increased pressure to ensure transparency and safety at their events. And for the artists themselves, this trial is a stark reminder that even the most private moments can come under public scrutiny. For Diddy, the stakes couldn't be higher. His reputation, his career, and even his legacy are on the line. But for Justin Bieber, the leaked footage has opened up a new chapter in his relationship with the media and the public. Whether he intended to or not, Bieber has become a key player in one of the most high-profile legal battles the music world has ever seen. So, where do things go from here? For Diddy, the trial is fast approaching, with jury selection expected to begin in just a few weeks. Legal experts predict that the proceedings could last for months, as both sides prepare to present their cases in painstaking detail. The prosecution is likely to lean heavily on Bieber's leaked footage, as well as testimony from other party attendees, to build their narrative. Meanwhile, the defense will focus on discrediting that evidence and casting doubt on the credibility of the witnesses. But Diddy isn't the only one facing uncertainty. Justin Bieber's role in this saga is far from over. The leaked footage has raised questions about whether Bieber will be called to testify during the trial. If that happens, it could be a pivotal moment, not just for the case, but for Bieber's public image. On one hand, his testimony could provide crucial context for the leaked footage. On the other, it could open him up to intense scrutiny, especially if the defense tries to question his motives or credibility. There's also the possibility that more footage could surface. If Bieber has other videos from Diddy's parties, the prosecution will likely push to have them released as evidence. And if that happens, it could completely change the trajectory of the trial. But even if no new videos come to light, the leaked footage has already had a massive impact, shaping public perception and complicating the defense's strategy. For now, all eyes are on the courtroom. This trial isn't just about Diddy. It's about the power dynamics in the entertainment industry, the culture of secrecy surrounding celebrity events, and the role of personal accountability in a world where boundaries are often blurred. And as for Justin Bieber, whether his involvement in the case was intentional or not, he's now inextricably tied to one of the biggest controversies in music history. The question is, will his actions help bring the truth to light, or will they just add another layer of complexity to an already messy situation? Beyond the courtroom, this case is sparking a cultural reckoning about the unchecked power of industry elites and the exploitation that often goes unnoticed. On Reddit and other social platforms, fans and insiders are sharing their own stories, with some alleging that Diddy's parties were an open secret in Hollywood, events shrouded in exclusivity, but whispered about in darker tones behind the scenes. Threads on forums like RR Entertainment and EUR Music reveal a growing distrust of celebrity culture, with users pointing out how the industry's tight-knit circles often protect the powerful at the expense of the vulnerable. Many are asking why it took so long for these allegations to surface, and whether Bieber's leaked footage was a deliberate attempt to break that silence. Others are questioning if Bieber's own career, especially as a young artist thrust into stardom, was shaped by similar pressures. This public dialogue is shifting the focus beyond Diddy himself, forcing fans and insiders alike to confront uncomfortable truths about fame, power, and the hidden costs of celebrity life. This case is far from over, and the leaked footage from Justin Bieber might just be the beginning. Whether it becomes the key piece of evidence that changes everything or just adds more fuel to the fire, one thing is clear: the stakes couldn't be higher. For Diddy, this trial could either vindicate him or completely unravel his career and legacy. For Bieber, his decision to step into the spotlight with this leak has made him a central figure in a controversy he may not have fully anticipated. But this trial isn't just about two music industry titans. It's about the broader culture of secrecy, power, and influence that has long defined celebrity life. Questions are being raised about accountability, transparency, and the darker side of fame. How much do we really know about what goes on behind closed doors at these exclusive events? And how much of it has been hidden in plain sight for years? As the trial moves forward, more twists and turns are almost guaranteed. Will Bieber testify? Will more footage or evidence come to light? And most importantly, will the truth finally come out? In the end, this story is about more than just Diddy or his parties. It's about the music industry and the blurred lines between privilege, power, and responsibility. What do you think? Could this leaked footage really change everything? Or is it just another piece of a much bigger puzzle? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below because this story is far from over.